In the aftermath of the Great War, Italy lay fractured, its people hungry for stability, its institutions teetering on collapse. From this crucible of discontent emerged one man whose combination of charisma, brutality, and political instinct would give birth to an ideology that reshaped the 20th century. This is the story of Benito Mussolini's rise to power, an ascent that proved how the promise of order can so swiftly twist into the reality of tyranny. Benito Amilcare Andrea Mussolini was born on July 29, 1883, in the humble town of Predappio. His father Alessandro hammered socialist ideals into local blacksmith work. His mother, Rosa, instilled a devout Catholic discipline. In this household of conflicting loyalties, young Benito discovered both the thrill of rebellion and the force of conviction. School corridors bore witness to his knife-wielding defiance, acts that led to repeated expulsions but revealed an intellect quick to challenge authority. By his late teens, he had earned a teaching certificate, yet the chalk and blackboard could not contain his ambition. As Italy's conscription laws loomed, Mussolini slipped across the border into Switzerland. There he plunged into the fervent debates of European socialism, sharpening his oratory and pen. His articles for socialist weeklies crackled with aggression, earning him both admirers and enemies. When he returned to Italy in 1904 as editor of Avanti, the Socialist Party's flagship paper, his fiery editorials stormed through the country's ideological battlegrounds, cementing his reputation as a radical voice to be reckoned with. In 1914, Europe convulsed into the Great War. Mussolini, true to his socialist upbringing, initially opposed Italy's entry. Yet barely weeks later, he performed an ideological volte-face. He penned impassioned dispatches urging Italy to join the conflict, arguing that war would purge the nation and ignite revolutionary fervor. His defection cost him dearly: expulsion from the Socialist Party and ostracism from old comrades. But in that political exile, Mussolini found his true calling: nationalism fused with authoritarian spectacle. He enlisted and saw combat at the front, cultivating the image of a man of action. When he emerged wounded in 1917, he returned to Milan not as a mere journalist, but as a veteran with a platform, Il Popolo d'Italia. In its pages, he articulated a vision that discarded socialism's internationalism in favor of Italian supremacy. The seeds of fascism were sown. March of 1919 found Mussolini assembling a motley league of disgruntled veterans, syndicalists, and nationalists under a new banner: the Fasci Italiani di Combattimento. The name harked back to Rome's fasces, symbolizing collective force bound together. Their manifesto was a bewildering patchwork: calls for women's suffrage interlaced with racist rhetoric, land reform entwined with promises of a strong state. Yet at its core lay a single method: violence. Armed gangs of Blackshirts roamed Italy's streets, confronting left-wing organizations with intimidation and arson. Though the first parliamentary elections in 1919 yielded no seats, the fascists' willingness to break heads gained them the reluctant support of landowners and industrialists terrified by Biennio Rosso's strikes and factory occupations. By 1921, Mussolini transformed his loose network into the Partito Nazionale Fascista. The PNF entered parliament as a junior partner in a conservative coalition. His carefully staged speeches portrayed him as a savior who would restore law and order without dismantling monarchy or property. The early 1920s saw escalating turmoil: peasant revolts, worker uprisings, and fiscal collapse. Throughout this chaos, Mussolini promised stability. His Blackshirts acted as de facto enforcers, protecting factories, breaking strikes, even policing villages. Local authorities, outmanned and fearful, often found it easier to tolerate fascist violence than withstand it. The ultimate gambit arrived in late October 1922. Mussolini orchestrated a grand pageant, the March on Rome. Some 30,000 Blackshirts fanned out across the peninsula, converging on the capital. Though they carried few arms and posed little real military threat, their numbers and determination unnerved Rome's leaders. Prime Minister Luigi Facta urged the king to declare martial law, but Victor Emmanuel III hesitated, fearing civil war or Republican revolution. Instead, on October 29th, he invited Mussolini to form a government. Thus did the self-styled Duce ascend to power by both threat and invitation in equal measure. With royal sanction, Mussolini was sworn in as prime minister. His revolution had been legal. In the months that followed, Mussolini moved to eradicate opposition. He acceded to the Interior Ministry, harnessing the police and his paramilitary to crush rivals. The 1924 elections were marred by intimidation and fraud. When Socialist Deputy Giacomo Matteotti publicly denounced these abuses, he was kidnapped and murdered. The subsequent outrage nearly toppled the regime, but Mussolini's resolve only hardened. By early 1925, he declared himself dictator, Il Duce, and dismantled Italy's pluralistic institutions. Schools, youth organizations, and cultural bodies were reshaped into propaganda arms. The regime's aesthetic, uniform black shirts, Roman salutes, monumental architecture, sought to forge national unity and awe. Economically, Mussolini championed corporatism, theoretical collaboration between employers, workers, and the state. In practice, labor unions were banned, wages stagnated, and industrial magnates thrived. Public works projects, such as the draining of the Pontine marshes, became hallmarks of a revived Italy, even as deeper structural flaws persisted. Abroad, the Duce yearned to resurrect Rome's imperial legacy. His 1935 invasion of Ethiopia flouted the League of Nations, exposing the impotence of collective security. Chemical weapons and mass atrocities underscored fascism's brutality, yet Mussolini hailed the conquest as a triumphant restoration of national pride. Initially wary of Hitler's racial fanaticism, Mussolini's pragmatism eventually steered him toward Berlin. The Rome-Berlin axis of 1936 bound Italian and German ambitions. In 1938, Italy adopted anti-Semitic laws that betrayed Mussolini's earlier pragmatism and sold Italian Jews into persecution. War with Britain and France in 1940 proved disastrous. Defeats in Greece, North Africa, and Russia shattered the illusion of fascist invincibility. By 1943, Allied landings in Sicily and a coup within Mussolini's own party sealed his fate. The story of Benito Mussolini came to an end in April 1945. It marked the definitive collapse of fascist rule in Italy. While attempting to flee toward Switzerland with his mistress, Clara Petacci, and other loyalists, Mussolini was recognized by Italian partisans near Lake Como and summarily arrested. The following day, he and Petacci were executed by firing squad in Giuliano di Masegra, their bodies subjected to public display in Milan's Piazzale Loreto as a powerful symbol of retribution. Benito Mussolini's rise was an alchemy of fear, spectacle, and opportunism. He exploited Italy's wounds to erect a totalitarian state that ultimately led the nation to ruin. His story endures as a warning. When democratic norms erode, when violence legitimizes politics, and when legal procedures mask authoritarian aims, liberty itself is at risk. In remembering Il Duce's ascent, we are reminded of our collective responsibility to guard the foundations of democracy against the siren call of certainty and order at any cost. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more captivating stories from our past. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.